listening to The Mark Cox Show. Follow the show on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Mark Cox Show.
The president took them in the Oval Office to honor them and show his appreciation for their outstanding work they do to keep our community safe. A list of the attendees is available for those who are interested. After that meeting, the president held another listening session on how to best fix the VA. It's a top priority for the president and this administration to ensure that veterans.
That is White House spokesman Melissa McCarthy. Sean Spicer. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm just
Please clap.
Please clap. Thank you. He just started his press conference here, so we'll monitor it. And I'm sure he's going to talk about this this challenge to the Ninth Circuit. So we'll bring you some of that here in just a couple of minutes. Did you see that you and I were talking before we came on the air about the Melissa McCarthy gimmick? I guess you'd call it.
That's kind of.
She really did she's a funny actress.
I did watch it, and the hair was correct. Now that the voice was kind of correct, but
the podium was. She could barely see over the podium. I mean, he's not that short. It's ridiculous.
But do you think that messes with his male psyche a little bit that they parodied him with a woman?
I don't know. I get the impression that he's got a little bit of a temper. It probably just hacked him off.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
And I think we're going to see a whole bunch of that. That's why I was telling you last week. It's he is very aggressive at the podium, and that's what Trump likes and people like that. He's not going to last at that job for 4 years, being combative and aggressive like that. The stress will wear him down like a river over water. He can't be that combative with those people. He'll never last.
Maybe we should send him some Sherry's berries.
We should.
Make him feel better.
We should.
That's a good deal. You get a good deal on those today.
I heard.
Did you hear that?
I did.
I'm just saying.
Sherry's berries.
I was trying to give Chris a hint there,
Becky's probably watching.
I'm sorry, Becky.
Becky's watching, I'm sure.
So we're on Facebook. Chris has got us on his Facebook Live. Speaking of Facebook, I've still checked Facebook pretty regularly.
Sure.
I've seen you've kind of slacked off the last couple of weeks. What's going on?
Are you
there?
a fan?
Of who?
Of me.
Well,
You're
of
checking
course.
my Facebook page like that?
I see you. You're right on my feed every day, right?
Yeah.
On my news feed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Except recently. Have the liberals scared you away? What's happened here?
You know what? It's been pretty much the same news for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Democrats against Donald Trump, obstruct. And it's just gotten old to me. There's not really much to comment on it, and it's bored me, to be truthful with you. Nothing really comment about it. I like what he's doing. I like the direction. I like how he's being tough with our adversaries. I like the executive orders. I like Obamacare's being done. I like the Dodd-Frank being thrown away. I like everything he's doing. There's really nothing for me to really comment on.
I think that's awesome that you like all that stuff.
Uh-oh.
I do.
I thought you were going to find some tape of me
No.
bashing Trump
I mean,
or something.
it took us a while to bring you over to the right side, but I'm happy that we did.
I was on the right side. I just wasn't a Trumper.
Kidding you. I know that. So I wanted to mention. It's funny you mention that because our Twitter poll today, brought to you by the Hair Salon for Men, is a question about grading Donald Trump's first 2 weeks in office.
Okay.
So you can go to @TonyColombo971 or @MarkCox971. I've retweeted it as well. And you can vote A, B, C, or the last one is DF. You only get 4 choices on the Twitter poll.
Okay.
So we had to kind of combine that last one. And, somebody commented on there yesterday, and actually we've gotten over almost 450 votes. You've still got time. We're not going to finalize the poll till the end of the show. So get on there and vote, so we'll get your opinion included in this as well, please. Somebody commented yesterday, I want to give him an A, but if I do, I've got nowhere to go up, so I'm going to give him a B.
But probably,
so where would you rank him?
If I had, I'd give him probably a B or a B+. And where I would have to criticize him has been a couple of the verbal gaffes, like over the weekend about the moral equivalency of Putin, that he's a murderer and we've done bad things too. That was kind of a not you don't want to hear your president saying we're just as bad as Russia. And there was another comment that he made a couple weeks ago about something, which I'm hoping is just growing pains, growing into the office, and then he'll realize that I have to be a little more sensitive about the things that I say. But other than that, I mean, I'm content.
Maybe. So speaking of gaffes,
yeah.
Maxine Waters. Listen to
Maxine.
Listen to what Maxine said yesterday. She showed up with Nancy Pelosi at some event, some press conference where they were talking about health care. And somebody asked Maxine if she's still planning to start impeachment proceedings against Trump yet. And she said that she might. Partially because of his close relationship with Vladimir Putin, who is invading Korea. Yeah. Korea. Did you hear what I said? Listen.
And the fact that he is wrapping his arms around Putin while Putin is continuing to advance into Korea, I think that he is leading himself into that kind of position.
And it kind of sounds like the Ukraine or Crimea, doesn't it? Crimea?
The way she said it, she's like, Korea? Oh, maybe. Well, whatever. I can just go back and be like,
she's surrounded by these
else.
Democrats and nobody corrected her. Don't you mean Crimea?
And that's
exactly what I said.
She
Why
also,
weren't you listening?
just before this, and I should have used the bite, she was trying to talk about Aleppo. And she couldn't remember the name of it. And one of them had to remind her that it was Aleppo. So Gary Johnson wasn't alone in that.
I was going to say another Gary Johnson.
I know, exactly.
Awesome.
And that just paints the overall picture of what I've been saying for years, is I wish that a lot of African Americans really knew the people that they're sending to Washington every couple of years. You know, we've had this comment that Maxine Waters said. We had the congresswoman in Houston who was saying, do we still have a flag planted on Mars?
Somebody was talking about that the other day.
We had another African-American congressman was talking about the buildup on Guam, and if we put too many military items on there, would the island tip over? I'm not making this stuff up. I mean, so I just wish it's just comments like that. It's like, these are the people that you're sending to Congress every 2 years, and you wonder why our communities are in the sad shape that they're in, and that the Republican Party and now the Democratic Party that's supposed to support us doesn't pay any attention to us. Because
Can't we have a little once in a while? Can't we have a little humor once in a while?
Come on.
It's just frustrating.
Just a little humor once in a while.
These people are making $150,000 a year. These are your representatives, and this is what they're talking about.
They make more than that, don't they? Don't they make like 172? They just gave themselves a raise?
I try not to think about it, honestly, so I'm just guessing.
And good health care on top of that,
yeah,
you know?
And these are the people that's representing some of these communities that are in desperate shape.
Well, you know, I mean, Maxine Waters isn't alone. Let's play that bite again from Nancy Pelosi, please, if you don't mind, Liz. The one we used in the short list. You know which one I'm talking about? Got it. All right, go ahead.
While it's only a couple of weeks since the inauguration, there's complete evidence. We've seen nothing that we can work, but I can work with President Bush on, and I'm disappointed because I thought that there might be some interest because of what he said in the campaign, which turns out to be not true, a hoax, and really dangerous to the economic stability of America's working family.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So, in other words, the Democrats are still stuck in 2007 because Biden not long ago said, you know, confirmation, blah, 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 on this day, 2007.
That's what I was saying. Is that
they're
like
all
a 10-year-old
stuck back?
clip?
Like, yeah, they're all
no,
stuck
she
back
just
in
said that,
2007.
and again, nobody stopped her and said, "Wait a minute, you just said President Bush." It's like she was completely
they did
oblivious
correct Biden,
to that fact.
but they haven't been correcting anybody else
lately. They got
lately.
the same talking points. It's just take the names out and put different names in, but it's the same talking points.
It's the kind of the impression you get. Now, I've tripped up a couple of times since the election and said President Obama when I meant to say President Trump, but it's because you're so used to saying President Obama. Bush has been out of office for years. I mean, honestly.
And here's what I don't understand about the whole impeachment talk. Democrats, you run nothing. Maxine Waters, you are a minority in the minority. How are they going to start any type of impeachment hearings?
They can't.
Or
It'll get killed in committee. It'll never make it. Yeah.
So
somebody will
flapping their gums.
Make the motion, and it'll get voted down.
Exactly. It's just foolish talk.
Yeah. Chris, you're on the radio. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to make a comment on Trump's comments that we're not, we've done some things too. And when we look back in history, Ulysses S. Grant had shipped smallpox-ridden blankets to the native people, Wounded Knee, Sand Creek Massacre, so on and so forth. So we want to, throw arrows at Trump for making that comment, that when we look back in history, we're not so innocent.
Yeah, Chris, what do you think about that, Chris?
I think what we're talking about here is Vladimir Putin is having reporters murdered, is having political allies murdered. That's what we're talking about. We don't murder our political allies here in this country if we disagree with them. I mean, those are sad incidents that happen in our history. We have a bunch of them. We have slavery. We have the Tuskegee incident, all that. I don't think you can make that same equivalent of here's the president of a nation that is sanctioning murdering his enemies. Yeah, I don't think that's the same thing.
We slaughter grammar, and sometimes we slaughter political correctness, but we don't slaughter reporters, generally speaking.
Exactly.
So when they had the discussion about the moral equivalency with Russia, how can you compare us to Russia? And I just don't think Trump meant it the way it came across. There's just no reason to think that, he's got to suspect the same thing about Putin that everybody else does.
Yeah.
But he's also got to deal with him.
Yeah, but I just wish that some of this stuff he just says off the top of his head, and I just wish he'd realize that the way that you're sounding is you're making a moral equivalency argument with a man who butchers his enemies, and the United States is not about that. We've never been about that.
No.
You're such a liar. You lie.
Chris Arps, always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.